How can Ayurveda help get you through this COVID-19 pandemic? For the answer, stay tuned. Ayurveda is the ancient holistic medical system of India, and it offers a wealth of advice that can help us deal with this time of fear and uncertainty. The three doshas, the one that's most likely to be out of whack right now in most people from what I'm observing is Vata. Vata is associated with fear and anxiety, with change in schedules, change in living arrangements. All these things can provoke Vata. And Vata being elevated in turn encourages anxiety, encourages fear, encourages insomnia. All things that many people are reporting these days. So by and large, what we want to get after with Ayurveda for most people, and it is going to vary from person to person, but for most people, what we're going to get after is Vata. Now, this is a bit of a paradox because in the Northern Hemisphere, we've just moved from the winter season to the spring season. And this is a time naturally when Kapha, the earth and water elements, so to speak, when Kapha increases. Now, and if you read books in Ayurveda, they'll say this time of year you should eat a diet that's designed to reduce Kapha. But if the problem that most of us are experiencing right now is a Vata disturbance, in fact, Vata and Kapha are opposite in all their properties, except for the fact that they're both cold. So, in general, things you do to diminish Kapha are going to have the negative side effect right now of increasing Vata, which is not what most people need. So, I think it's fine to eat seasonal foods. They, of course, tend to be more high in prana, and that is certainly from an Ayurvedic and yoga perspective a very good thing. High prana food helps our body function at its best. But now, with a spring diet, you may be tempted to have salads, a lot of greens, and perhaps a lot of raw food. Now, in general, Ayurveda is not a huge fan of raw food because raw food is hard to digest. And this is particularly a problem at times of high Vata because your Agni, your digestive fire, becomes irregular. So you're going to, by and large, want to not eat a lot of raw foods, but instead favor well-cooked, unctuous foods. That is, foods that are high in good fat, like ghee is a wonderful one. Ghee is also good for the immune system. It's also very good for Vata, and it's the only fat that also increases the digestive fire. So there's a lot to recommend a high-quality ghee right now. We want to be getting up, by and large, before the sun rises. And we want to be eating our biggest meal of the day when the sun is at the highest point of the sky, because that's when our digestive fire is going to be the greatest. What we don't want to be doing is eating late into the evening, because then our digestive fire is at its lowest point of the day, and particularly don't want to be eating big meals in the evening. You know, they generally say that you want to have your supper by about 6 p.m. so that you get a few hours to digest it before you go to bed, because one of the worst things you can do is go to bed with food in your stomach. Indeed, Ayurveda recommends that you have nothing to eat between supper and breakfast, that you fast, so to speak, overnight. Now, this has been shown to have benefits for the immune system. There was a study done of women with breast cancer that found they were less likely to have a recurrence if there were at least 13 hours every night between the last food they ate, last calories they consumed, and the first ones in the morning. I go 15 hours per night and have done this for years. Now, I really got rigorous about this during my cancer treatment because I wanted to boost my immune function to try to keep the cancer at bay. And the same applies with trying to keep COVID-19 at bay. The philosophy of holistic healing is not to fight the virus or the cancer per se. It's to strengthen you and to make you at your best to overcome whatever adversity comes your way, whether it's a virus, a psychological shock, or a cancer. You may recall from another video I did about the immune system for COVID-19. I mentioned how in an effort to get more high prana food at a time when I'm not getting out to the store that often and when the vegetables in my fridge have been sitting around for days and days at a time sometimes, that I've been using fresh sprouts. And I've been making sprouts out of mung beans, I've been making them out of broccoli seeds, and you can certainly use other seeds as well. The problem, though, with sprouts is that they're light and cold and rough. In other words, they have Vata increasing properties. So what I forgot to mention in that other video is that actually I've been adding my sprouts to my oatmeal. I make steel-cut oats most mornings. And what I do is when there's maybe 2 or 3 minutes of cooking time left, I throw the sprouts in so they get cooked just a little bit. And now I also put in digestive spices like cinnamon and turmeric and a little black pepper in my oatmeal, which, believe it or not, tastes delicious in oatmeal, as do the sprouts, surprisingly. So that even more helps to digest these things. Another thing that may be hard to do during this period where many of us are stuck at home, too much screen time can exacerbate Vata. So you really want to try to, at the very least, have a window of an hour or two where you're not watching television, not looking at the computer, and not looking at your phone before bed, to allow your nervous system to kind of calm down, to Vata to come down. Obviously, we make the decisions we make. We do what we can do. One of the things to know about Ayurveda has so many lifestyle recommendations that it'd be impossible for most people to do most of them. So choose the bits of Ayurvedic wisdom that work best for you. But the more you can regulate your schedule, the more that you can eat good food that's high in prana and helps deal with whatever doshic imbalance you're experiencing right now, which may not be Vata. For you, it could be Pitta. It could be Kapha. So if you know how to recognize these things, don't just eat based on the time of year. Eat based on what's going on with you right now. And of course, since most of the people who listen to my videos are yoga practitioners, you might want to check out the video I did on yoga for COVID-19. But the idea is basically the same. Choose practices that calm Vata by and large. You may want to do some active practices, but you always want to balance that with calming practices. And I'm going to do another video on pranayama for COVID-19 that you might want to check out. That too is another way to get after Vata. So I hope these hints are helpful to you, and I wish you so much luck. And we're praying for all of you. We're praying for our healthcare workers. We're praying for the people who have already gotten sick, and we're praying for the people who have lost loved ones. So take good care. Stay mighty. Namaste.